Sir, my topic is management of acute exacerbation of respiratory failure in COPD patient. ABG given ABG is PCO2 78, bicarbonate 14, PO2 45 mm of mercury. How will you manage this patient? From interpretation in ABG, this is mixed respiratory acidosis and metabolic acidosis with hypoxemia and hypercapnia. This is type 2 respiratory failure.
Very good.
Acute, sir?
Very good, I said. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Acute respiratory failure, it can be due to defect in oxygenation, low PaO2 and PaCO2 in normal or low. This is type 1 respiratory failure, hypoxemic respiratory failure. Whether type 2 hypercapnic respiratory failure, PaO2 is low and PaCO2 is high. Hypoxemic respiratory failure causes pulmonary edema, pulmonary embolism, pneumonia, atelectasis, pulmonary aspiration, any aspiration. Hypercapnic respiratory failure is due to either is due to defect in pump failure or increased load. Pump failure is due to CNS depression, NMJ disease, neuropathy, hyposcoliosis, and brainstem injury, spinal cord injury. Increased load is due to COPD, asthma, cystic fibrosis, bronchiectasis. A definition of COPD is progressive inflammatory disease of the lungs that is characterized by airflow limitation that is not fully reversible. Pathophysiology, PaCO2 is determined by the ratio of CO2 production and alveolar ventilation. This alveolar ventilation is determined by two main processes, that is minute ventilation and dead space ventilation. Mechanism of hypercapnia during exacerbation of COPD either is due to V/Q mismatch or dysfunction of the respiratory muscle. Four main mechanisms in hypercapnic respiratory failure or hyperventilation or either increased CO2 production or increased dead space or decreased tidal volume. We have to get thorough history from the patient side, sir. COPD, that is the most common associated risk is smoking, sir, risk factor. So we have to get history from how many years he is smoking and smoking index and smoking index. Frequency of exacerbation, any hospital previous admissions, previous request for NIV ventilation, sputum production, color, quantity, if it is associated with blood stain or not. Any comorbidities like hypertension, CKD, cardiac disease, we have to rule out, sir. We have to consider, sir. Nutritional status to rule out infection, sir. In clinical feature, the patient will, in exacerbation COPD, there will be breath stacking and dynamic hyperinflation. It leads to respiratory failure. Investigations, routine investigations like ECG, chest X-ray, echo, and detailed ABG I need, sir. Because of metabolic and respiratory acidosis, I'll check anion gap and electrolytes, sir. Goal to maintain hemodynamic stability and use judicial fluids or restrictive fluid therapy. Focus on oxygen therapy, bronchodilators, corticosteroids, antibiotics, and non-invasive ventilation or conventional ventilation. Other supportive measures are smoking cessation, pulmonary rehabilitation, and vaccination. Oxygen therapy, maintain adequate oxygen saturation to prevent hypoxemia. We have to keep as low as possible FiO2. FiO2 is 0.24 to 0.36. We have to maintain PaO2 at between 50 to 55 mm of mercury. SpO2 between 88 to 94%. Close monitor ABG, pulse oximetry to assess oxygenation and adjust oxygen therapy. Bronchodilators, it relieve airway obstruction and improve airflow. Drugs are short-acting beta agonist and short-acting anticholinergic like ipratropium, beta agonist albuterol, levobuterol, sir. Systemic corticosteroids, it reduces airway inflammation and improve lung function. Drugs, prednisolone, methylprednisolone. Antibiotics, if any bacterial infection and if any signs and worsening symptoms of bronchodilator therapy. Non-invasive ventilation, it is the preferred of ventilatory support in COPD. It decreases work of breathing. It improves gas exchange. It potentially avoid intubation. Types are CPAP and continuous positive airway pressure and non-invasive positive pressure ventilation. This CPAP is ideal for type 1 respiratory failure and BiPAP is type 2 respiratory failure. CPAP, positive airway pressure throughout all phases of spontaneous ventilation. It improves oxygenation. Whether BiPAP is, it augments CO2 removal and also improving oxygenation. Advantages of NIV: avoiding many complications associated with conventional ventilation like airway trauma, difficult intubation, failed intubation, risk of aspiration, avoiding the need for sedation, and easier communication with the patient. Contraindication: non-compliant patient, unconscious patient, unable to protect the airway, hemodynamic instability, and any facial fractures. These patients are ideal for conventional ventilation. But conventional ventilation, the drawback is difficult to wean the patient and difficult to risk and nutritional risks, sir. That's all, sir. Thank you, sir.
You have almost covered all the points. And just go for